Yo, what's good, and welcome back to another Rugby League Live 3 career video. We are back in this Newcastle rebuild. Before we jump into today's game, I'm going to quickly go over what would have been the signings for next season. First up, I dealt with our off-contract players, and I ended up releasing 9 players in total. Those players were Yamba Barrett, David Barner, Jamie Burer, Corey Dennis, Brendan Elliott, Jalen Feeney, Josh King, Rory Koss-Jason, and Michael Steele. That left me with 3 players remaining, and those 3 players I ended up signing, and they were Brock Lamb, Nathan Ross, and Daniel Saifidi. I know a lot of people were calling for Hodko to get cut. I was considering it, but he wasn't even available to release. Alright, now on to recruitment. Our main goals were to get a few forwards, sign a fullback, and sign depth for the back 5. Now unfortunately for us, our recruitment team is just straight trash, and it was a damn struggle to try and sign players. So for fullback, this is pretty much where a lot of the salary cap went. After so many offers getting turned down, we settled for Anthony Milford to come play fullback. He's primarily a 5'8" in the game, but in my opinion he's better from the back, a devastating runner, and he's a great ball player. Next up, I turned my attention to the front row, and we got some pretty good signings there with Jared Wallace from the Gold Coast Titans and the big Nelson Asofa Solomona. A couple of young bulls. I did try and sign some veterans like Jimmy Tamau, missed out on David Clemmer, missed out on Brenton Lawrence, and I also missed out on another young bull, Regan Campbell-Gillard. The last forward we recruited was a lock. He was going to eventually take over Asiato's position, and he would have been our captain, and that's Jake Trbojevic for the Manly Warringah Sea Eagles. There were a lot of requests to bring one of these players in, and luckily for you guys, Jake was on the market, and we snapped them up pretty quickly. Now on to back 5 depth. We kept getting turned down. We made offers to Clint Gutherson, Branko Lee, David Bowen, Bryson Goodwin, and I just got over it, so I decided to sign a youngster, a pretty exciting player, decent ratings, and we got him for cheap. That's Jai Field from the St. George Illawarra Dragons. Alright, so our last signing, instead of looking for a few players to fill in the back 5, we ended up pouring a lot of money into one person, and that's Jack Bird from the Cronulla Sharks. Obviously he would have walked straight into the starting side. Such a decent footballer in real life. A real gritty and kind of a throwback to the old school players. Well, at least in terms of aggression, I reckon. So yeah, those would have been the signings for next season. Like I said, it was a bit of a struggle. We missed out on quite a few players, but I'm stoked with who we got in the end. And yeah, let's just jump right into the next game for the Newcastle Knights. Alright, so in round 13 here, our opponent for today is the Sydney Roosters, who are currently 9th. They're in pretty decent form right now. They'll be coming into the game riding 2 wins back to back. As for us, we're looking for our 6th consecutive win and the top spot on the ladder. Alright, heading into the game, it'll be Dan Tupou's first time playing against his former club, and interestingly enough, it'll be the same for Dane Gagai, who's in the centres for the Roosters. I've seen a couple more new faces in the Roosters, Jason Nightingale on the wing, no Mitchell Pearce, and yeah, there's just a couple of new players littered here and there. As we get started in attack, immediately shifting it to the wing, Dan Tupou with room to move. He's going to get held up nicely there by Hanbury, I think it was, their fullback. As we take a scoot, get a wide ball out to Starling, back inside to Matautia, and another inside ball to Johnston. He goes back out to Lamb with no one in front of him. Great ball movement to start things off here for the first try of the game. If you take another look at that, there was a massive hole around the ruck, and we left the defense scrambling. We just kept passing to support players. It was actually a pretty decent try to look at. It looked semi-realistic as we make a break with Tupou down the sideline, and it's going to get wrapped up just past halfway. We got them on the back foot here as we pass to Johnston. I try and run into one of the offside players, but we end up getting wrapped up by their fullback. As we continue to shift the ball here, another inside ball, but it's well read by the defense. Third tackle, we go to Lamb, running across field. Beautiful shape here as we get it to Tupou one-on-one. This time he fends the fullback, puts the cherry on top of what was a pretty entertaining set. I really liked the way the runners kept holding their line while Lamb was running across field. Another decent looking try and a great finish by Tupou as we head into the break, up by 12 points. Looking at the stats here, and it's heavily one-sided in our favour. 6 from 6 completions, minimal missed tackles given that we haven't really defended much. Alright, back in the second half here, almost 15 minutes in, as we go to Hodko on the last, puts up a bomb for Ross, and it's caught by Nightingale as he fends off Bura, backtracking with Ponga, and I was contemplating whether I should cheese the AI with the dive tackle or just go for a normal tackle, and of course we get fended off in the end as Nightingale scores. Roosters finally on the board in the 55th minute as Hanbury converts from right in front, and it brings them within 12. Alright, we're about 60 odd minutes in. On the attack, on their 20, we go wide to Armal, goes to Asiata, and it's great defense in the end by the Roosters, who rush up on Asiata. 5th and last, so we go wide to Johnston, gets it out to Tupou. We try the chip over the top, it's been the go-to move for us, and it's going to get fielded well there by their fullback. He's going to get wrapped up by Johnston though from behind. Roosters on the attack, a scoot and a beautiful pass to Kiri. Kiri bumps off one, and he's going to hoist away for a decent try by the AI. Gets the Roosters back into the game. A great run and pass by, who's their hooker? I think it's Friend. Great run by Friend and pass to Kiri, ultimately sends us into extra time. So 2 minutes in, we send it wide to Asiata, back inside to Starling. He's going to get wrapped up inside our 40. Lamb at first receiver, we go to Lamb, show the pass, go wide to Ponga, back inside to Hodkinson, and he almost makes the break there. Alright, 5th and last. Under a minute left, we're inside our half. We go to Saifidi, gets it out to Bura, drawing past to Johnston, the 2-on-1. He goes himself here, still got Tupou on the outside, and we get it out to Tupou, who dives into the corner for the final try of the game and the match-winning try at that. We've been hammering their right edge all night, and it's only fitting that Dan Tupou gets the match-winning try against his former club. He also picks up man of the match. As always, drop the like button for more content. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you later.